everyone. We will get going. Happy Friday. First off, we want to announce some changes to our meeting schedule that are going to start next week. For those of you who have signed up for Bold Pivot starts next week. So we wanted to kind of cut down a little bit on our calls to accommodate for those calls too. So we will no longer be doing the Friday Zoom calls. And we're going to continue doing the Monday and Wednesday. And Mondays will be more of like what we've been doing, more of like a team meeting type structure. We'll have guests, all kinds of different things like that. And then Wednesday, we're going to be trying to be a little bit more focused on like business practices in action. So what does that mean? Maybe that means lead generation. Maybe that means technology, but more like hands-on in the field type topics for that. So if you have any ideas or suggestions or things you want to hear about or guests you want to hear from, please let us know and we can get those scheduled. But then, yeah, moving forward, no more Fridays. Yes, and then let's see. Today we are going to start off by talking about KWPP Cares a little bit and what we are going to do for Red Day, and for some newer people on the call, just what Red Day is in general. So Heather, do you want to just kind of start and tell everyone a little bit more about KWPP Cares specifically?
Sure, I would love to. Actually, anybody that's been around KW for very long has heard of KW Cares, and that's part of the company at large. Their charity that they use to support agents and causes that are near and dear to our hearts. They've encouraged all of the market centers to establish a local version. Ours is called KWPP Cares. And what that essentially does is it gets help to people in need much faster before KW Cares at large can help. Ours became an official 501c3 charity in 2017, so any donations made to it are tax deductible, so that we can benefit our agents in two different ways, on their taxes and to help them when they go through some tragic circumstance, and we can be a support to them financially through grant requests. And so we've kind of decided to tie that because of this year's the situation in the world being what it is. We need to be a little more distant in our way of helping, and so we're partnering KWPP Cares with our Red Day efforts. And so Megan's going to talk a little bit and tell everybody what our grand plan is for Red Day this year.
Oh, Megan, you're on mute. And will you start with like high level of just what even Red Day is for the newer agents?
Yeah, totally. So Red Day is traditionally celebrated on the second Thursday in the month of May with Keller Williams. It's originally founded in celebration of Mo Anderson's birthday. Mo Anderson is one of the founders of Keller Williams and has been a partner with Gary Keller for a long time. And she's really kind of the cultural leader of the company. So coming from that place of giving and leadership. So Red Day, just in general, what we usually do is every Keller Williams office across the country shuts down on the second Thursday of May, and we do volunteer activities in our community. In the past, here at Portland Premier, we have volunteered with Trillium Health Services and done some projects with them over on Southeast Powell. We have also in the past volunteered with the Oregon Food Bank, sorting food donations, which is usually fun and very competitive. Last year, we helped out over, I can't remember the name, but at that thrift shop out on 82nd, and did a bunch of organizing and cleaning up and some painting and stuff. And that was really fun because the weather was also gorgeous for it. So that certainly helped. And so this year for Red Day, we are choosing to support the Oregon Food Bank, and we're calling the campaign Front Yards to Food Banks. And we're going to be partnering with our friends over at Academy and at Amerispect. And so it's going to look a little bit different, but it's super exciting. What we're going to be doing is we have these signs that Jenny has beautifully designed that we will then be kind of connecting with our saying like, hey, if you make a $20 donation to the Oregon Food Bank through our system that we're going to have set up, it's kind of like a GoFundMe that will then provide one big donation to the Oregon Food Bank at the end of the campaign. We'll be putting signs in our clients and friends and neighbors' yards saying that we donated to increase awareness for the campaign. And that'll be running, launching on April 14th through the end of the month of May.
Austin, can you show everybody what the signs look like?
Yeah. Where's Austin?
There it is.
Yeah, so, and like super cute. I love them. And there will be a website where you can go check it out and donate directly on the website. And when somebody goes to donate, they will have the option to say, oh, like, who's your realtor or who's your connection with Keller Williams Portland Premier? And so they'll be able to tag you, and then you'll be able to go drop off the sign to them from a safe distance.
We're going to add the contributing sponsor logos as well.
Yeah.
Yes, we are very thankful that our Academy Mortgage and Amerispec both have help us sponsor this event and pay for the signs too. So we very much appreciate them. Thank you guys.
Yeah. And we'll be creating, we'll be creating some social media collateral for you to share in newsletters and on your social media feeds, and just be able to help increase awareness to your communities and clients.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and I'll be sharing I've got a little receipt kind of notification that you can give to any of your clients that donate, so they can use it for their tax purposes. It has our tax ID number, so that they'll have our 501c3 tax status for their deduction next year.
Mm-hmm. And I believe, so we're going to be having the signs printed up, and I believe you'll be able to pick them up at the office, or we're still working out some of the logistics behind that to pick up the signs, and then because they'll go on those little like metal stakes to be able to get out to your folks.
Great. Thank you, Megan, Heather, Jenny.
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
For the agents, when you do deliver the signs to your clients or your family or friends, whoever donates, it'd be great if you could take a picture of them behind the sign and then share it not only in your own social media, but then on our KWPP Cares Facebook page as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have to admit, you guys were kind of stuck with me today, but our KWPP Cares ambassador is Robin Desendorf, and she's going to talk more about the heart and soul of our company and our charity at a later date. She was feeling a little under the weather, so you got stuck with me today. But Robin's going to give you guys a lot more information about what KW Cares does and what it means and all of that at a later date.
Thank you, Heather. And yeah, so more information coming soon, but not our traditional Red Day, but we should still be able to make the most of it and have that camaraderie and give back within our communities. So that will be great. Does anyone have any questions on Red Day? Again, we'll have more information in the next couple of weeks, but we wanted to just at least throw it out to you just so everyone knew what we are doing and our plans are. Awesome. So next, Mark Schultz earlier in the week brought up some great facts and figures and statistics on the number of lockbox opens. So Mark, will you share with everyone all those great numbers?
Sure. And I just posted it over in, I shared it into the Facebook group. That obviously we look at various data and metrics, and one of the things I look at the SentryLock showing statistics, how many lock boxes are opened in Oregon versus Washington, and we track and see that, and they report that on a weekly basis ending on Saturday of every week, and you can go through RMLS and find the reports there. What I noticed is the week ending March 8th, of course, that Saturday right before Governor Brown made her statement of stay home, stay safe, we had 21,683 lockbox openings. That was our highest level of 2020. Within 5 weeks, by April 5th, we had dropped to 10,493. that was less than 50%. I mean, that was the result of stay home, stay safe, and not look in person, but instead go virtual. The uptick that I've been able to tell my sellers since then is in the 3 weeks since then. Again, we started at 21,600. We dropped down to 10,004. As of April 26th, 3 weeks later, we were back up to 14,810. So we came back. We're at 68% of our high point for the year. So how I interpret that is the buyers took their time out following the governor's instructions, but now they've come back out and they're back out looking. And we are building back to where we typically see this type of the year for buyer activity and lockbox showings. So anyway, the graph is shared in the Facebook group and you can take a look at it there.
Thank you, Mark. Yeah, an upward trend, definitely inspiring, right? And a little bit more exciting.
It's more of a V, which is what we want to see.
Yeah.
And just cool, if you are a data miner type person, you can go into RMLS and actually see for the Portland metro area, the day lockbox activity for Portland metro compared, I think it traces back to 2015, maybe, Mark, to just be like, oh, this is what like these weeks traditionally do. So if that's something you like.
Yes.
Thank you guys for sharing. Because yeah, a lot of people might not know that all that data is available.
Yeah,
So.
where you can get it, just if you want to see it, basically you go to statistics and it's statistics and then come down to the right, all the way down to the bottom, SentryLock Access Report. That's the weekly printouts that you see in the RMLS, the charts for both states. So that's where and it's on their Flickr account. That's where you can get the images and get the data. If you want to go for the statistical summaries that Megan was just talking about, again, statistics, and then under miscellaneous are statistical summaries, and those are all the printouts, all the broken down by all the counties in the metro area, and that has both those are the numbers that go into the Market Action newsletter. So that's where you go find your data.
Corinne?
Yes.
Alice Suyamatsu and Mike Kaufman, and we kind of came in late, so we don't know if this got covered, but we had a great idea to add to Red Day. Take it away.
Oh, so there's so many restaurants that are closed and it's curb to pick up. And we're trying to sponsor some of those because that's kind of give back to the new community for Red Day. And so we need to, I talked to Dwight yesterday about it and he didn't know how to do that. And so I was thinking on the KW program, we could advertise menus for curb pickup.
Or we also thought if we could designate one day next week that everybody could, you guys would send out the email blast, but everybody could send in one or two of their clients that they've either bought or purchased for that need help getting the word out that their restaurant's open for curbside pickup. That's not what we normally are allowed to do, but we wondered if there could be an exception and we could maybe start doing it once a week to help them out. It's kind of a Red Day type thing, but I would, if we could start next week, it'd be great because I know they're going to start opening sooner, pretty soon, but.
It might build up a good client base for KW also. Nobody else is doing it yet.
Yeah, it seems like a great idea to give back to the restaurants. I know Megan just posted in the chat that everyone could all post to their Facebook as well. So do you envision just like agents individually just kind of blasting this out to their database, or?
We were do it on KW. So because if we do it with KW, all the employees, all the restaurant owners, everybody will thank us later on.
Okay.
We were trying to get to all of the agents. And then I didn't know if KW Facebook page could do something in connection with that too. But I know a lot of us agents are trying to help the small people by ordering out from different people, but they might not know of all the ones that are really kind of already connected to KW because we either bought or sold their business. So
yeah, I think that's a great idea. And I think that probably social media is the best way to go about that. Let's kind of open that up. What are other people's thoughts or ideas on how to maybe execute this? Morgan says, we looked into doing something similar a week or two ago with our database, and one hurdle with some restaurants would be closed the next week and their hours would vary. Just something to keep in mind. So
I get a weekly menu from Quantrell, Hanco's, different places. Some of them are local, some are downtown, we have sold and leased out property to. And we're trying to get the people back to work. So however we can do it through KW, we've already done it on Facebook, but we're looking for other outlets.
okay.
What if
Yeah,
we
I
went
think-
to our our Keller Williams Realty Portland Premier Facebook page? That's outward facing. It's our public one. And Mike, you and Alice go on there. Well, I don't know if you guys can actually post, but I can see it all because I have admin access. But if someone could go and make a post of one restaurant, and then every agent can go to that specific post and comment with an image of another menu of your favorite restaurant or whatever to try to support it. And then it'll just be one big long post with a whole bunch of menus of our favorite places. And we could call it KW PP cares about our community and supporting our restaurant.
What if we dropped off menus with the signs that are getting dropped off for Red Day as well, so people have those, can keep those at home and call restaurants in the area? That way it's not just digital getting it out to people, but also in their hands.
Or even just a list of restaurant names, and then like what their websites are or something. So I just feel, yeah, it might be a lot of printing, that's all.
Yeah, I think these are all great ideas. So maybe Mike and Alice, maybe we work offline to just figure out some logistics of how to actually execute this most efficiently. But yeah, seems like a good idea just to show that we're part of our community, helping in our community.
Okay, we were thinking maybe it would start with an email blast to all the agents, just so that everybody would have a shot at looking for some of their clients to help out, and then, like we say, hopefully launch it by next Wednesday or Thursday so we can get helping these folks, whichever way is more sufficient. But also just getting the word out to our whole team of agents at KWPP, because we all go out and buy stuff too, and then, like you say, do the Facebook page too and do that, but kind of do a twofold thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you posted to our KWPP Facebook page?
I mentioned it to Portland Central yesterday, a couple of brokers. They thought it was a very good idea too. So they were going to try to follow our lead to do that also.
Great. As far as getting out to the agents, the KWPP internal, the agent Facebook group is a great way to get that information out, because most agents are on there. But yeah, we can look at kind of emails or whatever, however we can best get the information out.
Great.
Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you guys for thinking of that and jumping on the call and sharing.
Thank you.
All right. And thank you, Mark, for going over all those numbers. That's great. And then, so let's kind of move forward. And we have our wonderful friends from Academy on the call. I see we have Chad and Josh. Are you guys prepared? I know Dwight had talked to Brad. Are you guys prepared to talk about the purchasing power?
Yes, Corinne.
Wonderful.
I've got just a few brief slides for you here.
Great. So go ahead and share your screen and take it away. And thanks for
Very good.
providing
Do
info.
that. Okay, hopefully y'all can see this. And let me know if there's any challenges not seeing it. Okay, so yesterday, interestingly enough, I read that the 30-year fixed rate, according to Freddie Mac, was at the lowest level it's been since, we haven't been this low since 1972. And so I would imagine many of us on this call, the bulk of us were probably not in this industry at that time. And I won't ask anybody to reveal if they were. It's quite all right.
I want.
Thank you, Peter. Appreciate it. And or was that 1912, Peter? Was that 1912? Just kidding. Just kidding.
1919.
All right. Very good. Oh, the Spanish flu. You survived. Excellent. I like it. So the great news is because of that, that just gives us an incredible affordability. So this information is from Black Knight. And what I'll do is I'll make sure to just share these slides after the call. I'll get them over to your team leaders, and then they can pass this out accordingly so you can use these if needed. So Black Knight is a great research firm in the industry, and they're just basically giving us this context around how even though home prices are higher because of where rates are at, you know, you've got incredible purchasing power that is available to you. So if we put it into a different perspective, I mean, in essence, from a year ago, you can now buy a home that's almost rounded off 50,000 more than where we were at previously. So this is a great message to be getting out to potential buyers and or those who are looking to, you know, sell and do the move up to the next level home. And then we've got a couple flyers here contextually that you can utilize just to help people visually understand also from a payment perspective what that looks like if their loan amount was maybe in the $450,000 range and also in the $500,000 loan amount. So we're touching the higher end of the conventional max loan limit in the metro area. But this is a great visual resource that you can show your clients to just help them recognize the opportunity here that is in front of them. Sorry about that, wrong slide. That's in front of them to be able to take advantage of that next move up opportunity if they want to sell and buy, and or just recognize that they can get more for their dollar right now because of where the 30-year fixed rates are at, which is absolutely phenomenal. And then one other component too that I think that is an area that I think gets lost a little bit in our industry is because home values have gone up over the last decade and there is incredible amount of equity in people's homes. If someone is looking for that opportunity to diversify their asset portfolio, and you can put forward the idea of saying, hey, why don't we look at maybe taking advantage of the incredible rates that we have, refinance your primary home, pull out some money, and let's go find you a rental property, and let's turn you into somebody who is building a real estate portfolio, because the opportunities are great right now in that capacity, not only from refinancing the primary residence and pulling out that money, but then using those dollars to secure rental properties at also very low rates. I've sent out a few quotes just this last week to individuals who were refinancing their rental properties, and these were single family homes in the high threes and mid threes. So it's an incredible opportunity. And this slide just speaks to the idea of saying, hey, you know, are you open to the idea of maybe purchasing a new additional investment property? This was data that was gathered by Freddie Mac in regards to whether millennials, Gen X, or baby boomers, whether they look at the opportunity that's there in front of them. I think that they are aware, and if we present that to them, this could be another great opportunity for you to engage with your past clients and your past database and help them diversify their portfolio. That's all I've got, Corinne. Thank you.
Thank you. And good point with the investment properties. Can you speak to just how purchasing an investment property would affect the interest rates?
Yeah, typically your interest rate with someone who has excellent credit and can qualify for carrying a rental property in addition to their primary residence, typically rates will probably be anywhere from 1/2 to 5/8 to 3/4 higher generally. So, you know, we're refinancing and helping folks right now on purchases that are in the low threes, 3 1/8. I think we had a quote yesterday at 3%. They are paying a little bit of points to secure those opportunities, but it's still very reasonable. And then with a rental, then you'd be talking probably 375, 3875, 4% on a single family dwelling, most likely. Great opportunity from a historical perspective.
Great. And then we have a question in the chat box from Lacey of what's the lowest down payment that you could for a rental or non-primary residence?
Yes. So right now, the lowest down payment is 15%. Freddie Mac will allow 15% down on a single family dwelling rental property. The one challenge that does come with that is that I do know that several mortgage insurance companies have retracted and pulled back their willingness to provide a mortgage insurance policy on a rental when putting 15% down. So I'll admit I've not had the time yet to research if there are any MI companies in Oregon that are still willing to provide MI at the 15% down level. So I will actually make a note and make that happen, because this did come up in question a little bit earlier this week, and I need to just wrestle that to the ground and find out who is, because I know several have retracted that. And we need to know if there is somebody who will do it to maybe hopefully grab some market share. But Freddie Mac has not changed. They've said 15% down is the minimum for a rental property on a single family dwelling.
Great, thank you. Let us
You're
know.
welcome.
Anyone have any questions for Chad on lending, mortgages, purchasing power, any of that before we let him off the hook?
Hey, Corinne. I just wanted to add something because what we shared mostly was on conventional rates and pricing right now. FHA has come back down. There was a time when FHA rates were struggling, but with us, we have FHA rates that are really low right now. So for your first-time home buyers, you see these younger millennials on the slide as being a big impact there. FHA is still a great product, and rates are even lower than what you're seeing on the conventional side right now. So it brings that affordability well in line there for some of these folks on the looking to do 3.5% down, something like that as well. So keep that in mind with your folks out there as well. FHA is a great product still.
Where are you guys at right now with the FHA? What range on that chart? 3.5, 3.25?
We have FHA rates that you can get down as low as 3%. We saw 2.875 recently as well. So yeah, sometimes with a little help, you can definitely get there, and they're great.
Wow. Okay.
That's a good point, Josh. I would reiterate too, I am still coming across scenarios where clients have been referred to us, and the reason they've been referred to us is they have been quoted interest rates by other institutions that are much higher. Because of the uncertainty, the CARES Act did not really address how loan servicers are supposed to handle these forbearance requests from a tail end perspective going forward. And so there's great concern in the marketplace with all these forbearance requests, how these servicing companies are going to handle keeping the note holders happy from a payment standpoint, because they still have to pay the investors, and yet continue to manage the money that's owed to them as a servicer. And so those companies who can service loans, and Academy is one of those, they have stepped forward. So our corporate office 3 weeks ago stepped up and said, we're just going to start servicing all of our government solutions, VA and FHA. And by doing that, we kind of remove the risk, because we're basically saying, we'll take the risk of the note, we'll take the risk of the servicing. And that allowed us from a street level pricing wise to be able to offer very aggressive rates on FHA and VA. whereas many other institutions may not be able to do that because they don't have the ability to service their own loans. So just keep that in mind. If you hear a client who just says, you know, this rate that I got quoted seems a little exponentially high, most likely that's influenced by the fact that that company or institution may not be able to service their own loans, and so they are at the mercy of what the market is doing from a pricing standpoint.
Thank you for the updates.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Anyone else have any lending related questions for our friends at Academy? Awesome, guys. Thanks for jumping on.
Absolutely.
So lastly, we have been talking about, as lots of business have been, plans for reopening the office. And I know Governor Brown's making some more announcements today. So we're thinking sometime in May, second half of May, we'll unlock the doors and, make it our office will be open again with staff, but we're just figuring out what kinds of precautions and necessary measures to take. And there's a big variance. A lot of different offices are doing different things, like, requiring people to take their temperature at the door, different things like that. So we kind of put together a graphic of some of the rough thoughts that we have had, or other like offices at Keller Williams have had. So we just wanted to kind of get a feel for what you guys all thought and what would make you feel comfortable. And we'll show, Austin, let's show that little graphic.
Okay, Anna, just one moment. Let me get that.
Okay, because we were like, if we're more cautious, does that make people want to come to the office more or less? And the social distancing would still come into play. So
that's the wrong one.
Oh, okay.
Let me get that. Sorry, guys. There we go.
That's the one we copied from another Keller Williams office. Wait, that's still on the water. Oh.
This one. Oh, I don't know what just happened. It just cut me off. Interesting. There we go.
So even though we're not quite to the point of like exactly figuring this out yet, we wanted to just really get a feel for what you all thought and what you would be comfortable with. And so, yeah, this is some of the rough things. If you've had any symptoms of like fever, cough, shortness of breath in the past 3 days, don't come to the office, right? If you've been in contact with anyone with coronavirus, if you've traveled within the last 14 days, we'll be encouraging, and this is kind of where encouraging or requiring, not sure the wording on this, people to have masks in the common areas like copiers, kitchen, things like that. Strictly enforcing the CDC regulations of the 6 feet. So some of our conference rooms would be closed. What exactly would that mean for people with 2 people that share an office is, can you guys work out a different schedule so that we're always within the CDC guidelines? And then as far as temperatures, some offices are taking people's temperatures as they come in and documenting it. Some are requiring people to take it at home. So thoughts, and please share, what you guys would feel comfortable with. And Dwight, if you want to add anything.
Well, yeah, my thought is, this is what the staff has been talking about. We're expecting that we'll be open in the second half of the month, and the requirements will be changing. And so the goal is to start a conversation about where people's comfort levels will be and the things that we should be requiring so that the maximum number of people feel safe coming into the office. And so this is a live document, meaning this isn't the final version. And so if you have any thoughts, you could put them in the chat box. You could obviously speak up here. You could send emails in. We're also monitoring what other KW offices are doing. Different states have different levels of concern. Obviously, the easy contrast is New York City versus Montana. So We're trying to find the right balance for the office that the most people in the office will relate to feel comfortable to come back to work and try and get back into those working habits, the good working habits again. Obviously, the reason we asked our partner academy to come on today and we asked Mark to speak today was because showings are ramping up dramatically. You know, the weather is better and these rates are crazy, crazy good. Imagine selling a home and having an owner who has had hardly any showings agree to do a buy down to get somebody under 3% right now for a 30-year fixed rate loan. You would be their hero. 5 years from now, there's no way they're going to be able to get rates in this range with all the money the Federal Reserve is spending to drive rates down right now. So this is a gift that we're getting from the government, and we don't know what things are going to look like in 6 months, but we do know that for Oregon, we're moving into the best market of the year with the best interest rates in almost everyone's career in the office except Peter. And this is the time to start changing your attitude to figure out how in the heck you're going to make the most money while these rates are so low. And that's it.
Great points. Does anyone have any thoughts on or want to share comfort level, things that would make them feel more comfortable at the office? Some places are, taping out the floor line so people know where to go. Do you think taking everyone's temperature is overkill, or does that seem like a good idea? Different things like that. We want your guys' opinions.
Yeah, the obvious things are, I'll throw this out. The obvious things are we're not going to let anyone gather in the small conference rooms, to have a meeting. We're not going to have team meetings in the training room. Those are the very simple things. And there's conversation about trying to channel everyone through the main door, make sure that, everyone is, maybe we have stations where they can wash their hands, requiring everyone to wear masks when they're walking around the office, things like that. So feel free to throw out your ideas. Again, this is a live document sort of conversation, and it will change. At the end of the day, the government will have a big part of whatever happens here, obviously. So throw your ideas out.
So I think it would be important to ask people to use hand sanitizer when they come in to the office. I mean, I don't know about taking temperatures, because I would hope that people would just stay home if they felt like they had a fever. But I think it's really important to have people wash their hands right when they come in through the door, or maybe even have hand sanitizer outside the door so that they don't touch the door handle before washing their hands.
Are you guys just talking about opening the office to the employees or to the public too?
Some locations, some Keller Williams offices in states that were affected more are not allowing clients. And I don't think that that's necessarily a good idea. I think clients would be fine as long as you're doing safe distancing, right? So the big conference room up front, some of the conference rooms can accommodate that pretty well. Some of them cannot. So Dwight, right? Clients.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked a lot about clients. We don't have that many clients coming to the office anyway. If you had a client coming to the office to sign a document, you really wouldn't have to meet with them. You could have the document waiting in conference room 1, and they could go in and sign. You could sit with them in conference room 1 and obviously have the 6 feet of separation. Probably the greater issue there is everyone would have a mask on and everyone would wash their hands. So, those are the little aspects of it that we want to nail down before we open. So I suspect it's going to be fine to have clients come, but it would be limited. We'd probably have some limitations around it. That'd be my guess.
So Dwight, would the LO office remain locked and a sign on the door that they would call the main office number and it only could be by appointment?
Yeah, the LO office is a unique challenge in that there aren't that many of us that go into it that stay in it all day long, such that it justifies a full-time $40,000 a year assistant that doesn't have a lot to do. So, you know, that's one of our challenges, is to figure out how to do that when we don't have a lot of agents that come into that office, period. So I'm not sure how we're going to do that one yet. We have to get closer.
Okay, well, I would recommend keeping the door locked, because there's nobody stopping everybody from coming in. If we don't have a receptionist up front, anybody can come in and use the restroom or do whatever, and just for safety.
Yeah. Well, you know, when this Corona thing started, I don't know, you know, most of you aren't even aware of this, but Jane was our director of first impressions at the business center on Boones Ferry Road, and she had great concerns very, very early on in the Corona world, and opted to just go home. And she and her husband quarantined. There's some health issues that they were both concerned about, and so you know, we did have the door locked, and we functioned pretty well with having the door locked, right? And we're diverting mail and other things down to Bridgeport, which is fine. We don't have that many people coming to LO. So, you know, it's highly likely that if we reopen, it'll look like that for a while until we figure out, you know, how to do it differently, or if there's a need to do it differently. Did that answer your question?
Yes, I just didn't want that door to get unlocked.
Okay. We're moving your desk right out into the entry.
I'm gonna go take Denise's desk.
So if anyone has any other thoughts on that, feel free to reach out to anyone of a staff or leadership to share your concerns or thoughts and ideas, because we are open to it and kind of in progress of figuring it exactly what it looks like when we open. And another thought is we are going to still continue to do, for a while at least, and maybe forever, I don't know, the meetings on Zoom, not in person. So for people that don't necessarily feel comfortable coming into the office right away, there's not going to be, you know, everyone can kind of adjust to their own comfort level. All right, so our lovely Tanya has been teaching some command classes, and she has one today. But Tanya, will you share a little bit about yesterday's and how, you know, everyone left with something great?
Sure. Yesterday we did a class on your Command IDX website, and everybody that attended the class yesterday left with a Keller Mortgage webpage that linked clients directly to them as being their agent. Of course, the video is uploaded onto YouTube and on our Facebook page. There is a document that I have as like a cheat sheet. So if you need it, you want to do that, just reach out to me and I'll share that with you. Or I'll share it on I'll share that Google Drive on the Facebook group, so everybody has access to it without asking for it. But today we have another class at 1 o'clock, and we're going to be doing email campaigns through Command. So if you have newsletters you want to do, that's what we'll be covering today.
Yeah, a lot of people have asked, how do you send out a bulk email? So go to Tanya's class. The classes are very hands-on, so you can leave not just knowing the information, but actually doing a lot.
We go step by step through it. So sometimes it slows down a little bit, but if it slows down too much, I'll just ask that person to, that I'll reach out to them afterwards, and we'll do a one-on-one walkthrough of whatever complication happened up. Yes, Morgan, you have to have a MailChimp account to do mass emails at this time for the campaigns. You can do, you actually have Command email up to 5,000 emails and a day, I believe it is. And that is for direct emailing through your contacts or doing emails through the smart plans without going to MailChimp. And that actually just goes for your KW email. And we're going to kind of cover that a little bit on the class today. And but to do mass emails at this time, it is still MailChimp. Keller Williams is looking for another way to be able to do mass emails through another provider, so we don't have to pay for extras. Let's see. Oh yeah, Melanie answered that. Yep, everything is recorded, and the YouTube links are posted on the Facebook page. If everybody just goes to Keller Williams Portland, hold on. Austin, do you have that right offhand? Is it Keller Williams Portland Premier?
Talking about the YouTube channels.
Yeah, the title. There was other YouTube channels created in the past, but we don't have access to delete those accounts.
It should just be Keller Williams Portland Premier is the name of the YouTube channel.
There you go. Subscribe to it, and then you'll always have it over on your left-hand side in the middle of your YouTube page.
And everything is posted there, right? All of Tanya's classes, all of these meetings.
Yes.
So anything you need to go back
And
to.
Austin always shares the links back to everything in our Facebook group.
Yeah, so there are two that when you search for them, there's Keller Williams Realty Portland Premier. That's the one that was created in the past that we have no access to. So it's kind of just rogue sitting there on YouTube. But there is one that is Keller Williams Portland Premier. So there you'll see two of them. It's the one with the most updated videos. There's more videos on that one than the older version. So
that's yeah, that's the link to our whole KW Portland Premier page with all the videos. So and again, Austin will post the links to each individual video, but they're all there. So those are great resources, especially Tanya's command ones, because then you can like pause it, do something, you know, and walk, like do the work along with it. So great. All right. Well, that is all I have for today. I don't know if anyone else, Dwight, Tanya, Heather, if you guys have anything else. Oh, Dwight, you're muted.
I have a couple of odds and ends. So I had a text yesterday from Gary that Bold was sold out. Do we know that?
No.
Anyone heard that? Okay, so we might want to check.
It's not possible for it to be sold out because it's live stream. It's open to everyone.
I went to the actual register because I tried to register and it said they're not taking any more registrations.
Oh,
so I heard on the call that they were up to 25,000 people attending Bold.
Yeah, but I thought they said, I saw a post saying that they were bumping it up to the next goal of 30,000.
Well, if you can find the link, I'd appreciate it because I wanted to sign up.
Yeah, I'll send it. I just emailed out or put on Facebook the video just the other day that they sent out, but I just signed someone up. Let me look.
Melanie will help you, Gary.
Yeah.
Anything Bold related, ask Melanie.
I appreciate that, Melanie.
Yes. Sorry. Thank you. I'll figure it out.
Well, so this is what my thought is on Bold, and this is probably why so many people are signing up for it. Number one, you're going to hear from the top trainers in the world, and it's going to be up to the moment information dealing with COVID. If you think about it, when in history have 25 to 30,000 people all been able to dial into one source at one time around the world, possibly 23 different countries represented, to have a call on how to do real estate around the world at the highest level? It's almost unfathomable to think about the fact that KW is positioned to even be able to do this right now. No other company can do this or is doing it that we've heard of. And so to me, just to be on it and to hear what they're saying is worth the $99. And if you miss it, it's going to be taped and you'll get it so you can listen to it later. So not only is it a historic training event, it's our own company that's doing it, and I think it's pretty freaking amazing myself. So, and then I just want to add one more thing. So I'm just sitting here thinking, how many people have been in the business long enough to remember the conversations back in, I think 2013-ish, 13, 14, when it was cheaper to rent, to own than it was to rent. Do you guys remember those days?
Yep.
and how many homes we sold in that time, well, guess what? A $300,000 loan at 3% interest, the interest is $750 a month. So without grinding this through a quick calculator, that means the payment is probably $800 a month. $800 a month principal and interest on a $300,000 loan. That's crazy. That we are now back to cheaper than rent to own. So, I mean, pretty phenomenal right now. Phenomenal window.
Just a side note, Gary, I just tried and like just to start registering you and it let me. So I see, Corrine, you put the link, but I also put the direct link right to the registration page right under that. And Gary, I also emailed it to you.
And I put the
Thank
link
you.
to YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, if anyone else has bold questions, talk to Melanie, and let's all go out and use these good low interest rates to our advantage. Get remotivated. So everyone have a wonderful weekend. Or Dwight, you have any more tidbits?
No, that was it. Thank you.
All right, everyone. Have a great weekend. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you on Monday.
Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Thank you. Bye.